Call Don now, 682-1270. News Talk 1270 KIML.
News Talk 1270 KIML, Don Carpenter Show. And welcome back to the program. And I believe we should have on the phone John Foldberg. Are you there, John?
Yes, Don, I sure am. How are you this morning?
Good morning. And I'm not used to getting calls this early. I'm glad you were able to get up early. But I guess as a Marine, you probably were up a lot earlier than this most days.
Yes, I sure have been. This morning, been up for about an hour or so.
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. You're almost on the morning radio host schedule.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So you're just passing through town. You're doing the cross-country Cyclists for Veterans, and just tell us a little bit about how you got started with that and how you decided what organization to support with it.
You betcha. The cross-country Cyclists for Veterans is just a team that I put together. It's 4 of us, and our goal is to raise $20,000 for wounded veterans. The organization we support is called the Semper Fi Fund, and they are a nonprofit that supports wounded Marines and any other service members who were wounded while serving with Marine units. They've expanded that to cover all service members, all the men and women who've been wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan. So the idea of why do I want to go cross-country, it's just been an idea ticking around for a while, but I wanted to put purpose behind it. And being a retired Marine, having served in Afghanistan and Iraq as a government employee, I wanted to do something for our wounded, and so I put the purpose of the Semper Fi Fund behind riding across-country. And then put the word out to some friends in our local area who wanted to come along. The only requirement if they were to come was they had to do the training in order to come. And so 3 young guys, I've got a 16, a 17, and a 20-year-old young men who have joined our team. And they did all the hard work up, and the adventure began on August 1st, and we should wrap up in Yorktown, Virginia on October 14th.
Oh, so you're doing about 60 miles a day. How long does that usually take you to do?
Well, me being the old slow guy, it tends to take right between 5 and 6 hours. I usually use 10 miles an hour for planning purposes because as we ride, we'll stop, we'll have lunch, we'll just take a small break. So for planning purposes, we go for about 6 hours. A lot of times we get done faster than that, but that's just a good planning.
Oh yeah, Now I mean, and actually, before you called in, I mentioned every once in a while. I mean, I'm fairly new to this area, but I find it kind of cool that living along such a major route as Interstate 90, every once in a while we get people passing through on on fundraising things like this. We had a gal come through about a month ago that's walking across the country.
Wow.
And so I always found it really cool, and you actually were able to experience the generosity of this town, and
yeah.
That's one of the things. I mean, I do a lot of interviews with people fundraising things locally, and it's always such a great turnout. But since you're an outsider like me, share with us a little bit of your experience about the generosity of the people here in Gillette.
Yeah, this is a great town. The last time I was here was 1984, and the night before we slept between Leiter and here, just finding a place off to the side of the road. So when we came into town, we were pretty hungry and pretty thirsty, and we pulled into a small restaurant called Burro Loco, and we just parked our bikes with our trailers next to their restaurant, walked in, sat down, and one of the waitresses said, "So who are you guys? What are you doing?" And we just gave her a real brief explanation of, well, we're riding to raise money for wounded veterans. And she came back with a $100 check, and it was just, holy cow, that is incredibly generous. And her dad is a former sailor in the Navy, wasn't wounded, but she just wanted to express her support. and then we pressed on from there to a local inn that one of the fathers of the guys on the team contacted, and Mary, who runs the Arbuckle Inn here in Gillette, contacted me and reserved 4 rooms. So we each got our own room. That's never happened. And just the incredible generosity, kindness, encouragement was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just, and they were just so supportive of what we're doing and how we're doing. And in fact, Mary gave Paul a call, Paul Wallum, and he came over yesterday afternoon and did a short interview with us. And that was way above and beyond, anything we could possibly expect. We've tried to set up media events as we've moved forward just to raise awareness to facilitate our donation effort. But she just went above and beyond. And that's just typical, I think, of the people here in Gillette. It's just a neat town. People care about their veterans, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot of veterans in this community, and that's one thing I've really learned is the community really does show up to support vets, and I think that's one of the really nice things about this town. I mean, there's a lot of nice things about this town, but that's one of them. Yeah. And and you've actually had some fairly good weather, at least coming through this area. But you mentioned that sometimes you just sometimes just stay off on the side of the road, so you carry all your supplies with you.
Yes, we sure do. We are pulling trailers behind our bikes, and with the trailer and all the gear in it weighs right around 70 pounds, maybe a tad less. And we just set up tents and pull out our sleeping bags and climb in those. Now, generally, we try and find a campground, or if there's no campground like there wasn't last night, we try and either ask a local rancher if we can just put up our tent on his property, or we'll go to a national forest property and just try and just set up our camp there. We'll grab our food the night before at a local grocery store or convenience store or whatever's available, eat that, and so we resupply food on pretty much a daily basis based on the availability of grocery stores and whatnot.
Now, being a Marine, I'm sure you're fairly used to that kind of stuff. Maybe not in your later years as a lieutenant colonel, but I mean, you've done that. Have the younger guys, have they really adjusted to that fairly well? Yeah,
great question. The 3 guys are all Eagle Scouts, so they've done a lot of camping, and they know how to not necessarily live in an austere environment, but they've done a lot of camping, cooking, outdoor living kind of stuff, and so that's been really helpful. All things equal, I think they would prefer to be in their own room in Arbuckle Inn rather than sleeping under a bridge someplace. But they have adapted really well. These are neat young men who are just doing incredible. I mean, there is no whining, complaining in these guys at all. They just get on their bikes and motor on. And we've had days where we've biked about 80 miles, get to the destination, set up, eat dinner, and then they're out throwing the Frisbee around or whatever. So, yeah, there's no slack in these 3 young guys.
And that's, I have a teenager, and it's tough to get her to get out of bed early on the weekends. So yeah. I know sometimes it's a little bit tough to motivate some teenagers. So that's really cool. And I think the Eagle Scout thing probably helps a lot with the motivation as well.
Yeah, it sure does. And, they also recognize that, hey, this isn't a bike ride for them going across the country. Yeah, there's a certain element of, hey, I think it'd be really cool to bike across the United States. But they each have really embraced in the idea of why we're doing it, to support these wounded veterans. And in our train-up process, we went and visited some wounded veterans and talked to them so they could really put a face to the purpose of our ride. And they've just been awesome.
So, as you're going across the country, do you plan on visiting any organizations for wounded veterans or any hospitals, VA hospitals, or anything like that?
We haven't yet, but we certainly do want to. What we've met with are a variety of different organizations, whether they are Marine Corps leagues, As a matter of fact, the Marine Corps League in Rapid City is helping us out quite a bit with a place to stay and some food and whatnot. We've given presentations to Kiwanis clubs and Rotary clubs, other veterans organizations. So we're just trying to reach out as much as we can. We haven't visited any VA hospitals, but that's certainly something that we would like to do.
Yeah, that seems like that would kind of go along with what you're doing and give everybody kind of a little bit of an idea of it. So before you got into this, did you have any experience with cycling at all?
No. I started cycling about 5 years ago. I've got a pin in my foot, so running was no longer an option, but I still wanted to do something outside and something physical, so biking became a good alternative. And so I just took up cycling, and the longest ride I had been on previous to this was down the Pacific Coast Highway on Highway 1 from Monterey to San Luis Obispo, about 160 miles. And so that's the extent of my experience. I'm in the touring cycling world, I'm considered a rookie.
Well, you'll be a pro by the end of this one.
Yeah, we'll see.
So you're originally from California then. You started in right outside of Seattle, but you're going all the way across Interstate 90, it looks like, and then you'll shoot up through Wisconsin up into Canada and then come back down through Toronto and then go down towards Virginia from there. Yes.
Actually, what we're doing is we're staying off the major highways for the most part. Every once in a while, because there's no other side roads or parallel roads or roads within any between our destinations, we have to get on a major highway. But for the most part, we're on roads like 16 and whatnot.
Oh, okay. So you're staying off 90, but
yeah, as much as possible. We really want to get into the back country and meet the people off of the kind of the major highways and see America that way. And but yeah, our route takes us from here. We're going to Mount Rushmore. That was one of the destination points one of our team members wanted to see. And then we'll head east from there. Our route has changed a little bit from the map that you're looking at. And we'll go across Lake Michigan. We're going to take a ferry across Lake Michigan, get into Ontario, down to Niagara Falls, and then dive down into Yorktown, Virginia.
And it looks like you'll be finished by mid-October, sometime October 15th or 14th, I believe.
Exactly. That's our target end date. Right now, our schedule has us ending on the 9th of October, but we added a few days in there for, in case someone gets sick or we have a bike problem and we have to stay a little bit longer in a particular town. Oh, sure.
So when do you actually leave Gillette then?
We leave this morning in about an hour and a half.
Oh, okay. So you'll be heading out, and where do you head to from here?
We're heading to Newcastle from here.
Oh, okay. So and then Newcastle's around where you're going to stop then tonight?
Yeah, it sure is. We'll stop in Newcastle tonight, and then on to Hill City tomorrow. We'll spend an extra day in Hill City visiting Mount Rushmore, and then we'll shoot up to Rapid City the next day.
Well, I will tell you it's a beautiful ride. I don't know if you're going through you're going through 16, so you wouldn't be going through Spearfish Canyon then.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I would tell you that's one of the most beautiful roads ever, but it might be kind of perilous for a bike. It's kind of curvy and a lot of traffic. So, so 16's a pretty good road. You should be pretty good with that.
Okay, great.
So one more time, I do know you need to get out and get riding. So one more time, let's get the information out about cross country Cyclists for Veterans, and CCC Vets.com is the website. It links to your Facebook and your other your videos and everything. Just give us a little bit of I guess the bottom line of what you're doing this for, and yeah.
You bet. The story isn't 4 guys biking across the United States. Plenty of people bike across the United States. The story is who we're doing it for. It's for our wounded veterans. And the motto is, we ride for the wounded. And, each one of the services has an ethos of, we never leave someone on the battlefield. And we should never leave any of our wounded when they get home and they need our help the most. And that's what the Semper Fi Fund really does, is once our wounded get home, there's going to be needs that they have, lifelong needs. And that's what the Semper Fi Fund does, comes alongside these men and women and their families to help them get back into a lifestyle that will help them, be a responsible, productive, involved, and do as much as they possibly can. So the bottom line for us is, we're riding for the wounded. They're the story. We're not the story, and they're the purpose. And we're just guys who are just trying to highlight their incredible sacrifice and service to our country.
Yeah, and it's definitely a great cause. And if anybody does want to donate, they can just visit your website, CCC4Vets.com. They can also email you, CCC4Vets@gmail.com, and they can look you up on Facebook as well. You do daily updates and everything, so it's really cool. I went and looked at the website, and you guys are you're doing the Lord's work.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, we hope so. It's the verse that we have for our team is Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous, and the Lord will be with you wherever you go. So that's our prayer. So
yeah, and it's it doesn't get any. It doesn't the cause doesn't get any better than this, and I think, as a retired service member yourself, you know what it's like for a lot of these guys. They come home and sometimes they feel a little bit forgotten, and things like this are and publicizing things like this. I know you say it's not really about you, but I can make it about you. You guys are doing something that's really great.
Well, it's a great purpose. We're having a lot of fun. We've got good days and not so good days, but we're really enjoying this ride, and we're really, really enjoying seeing, meeting, talking with the American people as we go across the country. And Americans are awesome. It's just so neat to see and feel and experience their generosity and encouragement.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you're looking to raise $20,000. How close are you, by the way?
Right now we're right at about 11,500. There's a gap between what our website shows because of online donations versus donations that have been mailed in. We're right around 11,500.
And if somebody doesn't want to go online, and I know we have a few listeners that aren't online. If they see you riding between here and Newcastle, stop you and give you a donation.
Absolutely. And if they don't want to do it online, they can still go online, download the paper copy, and then just fill the paper copy out and mail that in. Oh,
absolutely.
And the only thing I would say is, on the little form that says in support of, just put our team name, CCC4Vets, and that way we'll get credit for that.
Absolutely. So make sure if you do download the form, just put in CCC4Vets.
That's correct, yeah.
So once again, it's Cross Country Cyclists for Veterans, John Foldberg, and let's see, I want to get everybody's name in here: Daniel McFarland, Nathan McFarland, and Evan Gillum.
Yes.
And you're all doing something that's really great, and I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you this morning.
Well, thank you, Don. I really appreciate you allowing me to come on the air and just chat with you a little bit. It's just been great, and really appreciate your support and encouragement and just helping us get the word out.
Hey, that's why I'm here, and I want to welcome you to Wyoming. And you're not going to be here for too much longer, but I'm glad you really liked it here.
Oh, we loved it here. This was awesome.
Thanks a lot, John Foldberg. We'll, actually, I'm going to shoot you an email. Maybe we'll talk to you, get like updates from you as you go along, maybe once a week or once a month or something like that until you're finished. We'll kind of
love to do that.
So I'll actually shoot you an email after the show today, and maybe we can set something up.
That would be great.
Hey, thanks a lot, John, and have a safe trip.
Hey, thanks so much, Don. You take good care. Have a great day.
Thank you. John Foldberg, cross-country cyclist for veterans. CCC4, the number 4, vets.com is their website. Go check them out. It really is. It's a humbling thing to talk to somebody that's doing something so great. News Talk 1270 KIML.
From Washington to Cheyenne to right here in Gillette, Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML.